Welcome, Ultimate DIYers. We're up bright and early in the morning, and we're going to take this old, wore-out chainsaw blade off of the Poulan. This is a Model P3314, and we're going to replace it with a brand new one. So stay tuned, and I'll show you how I do it. Okay, first of all, this blade, it got loose apparently and got stuck, but it's very old and wore out. I can feel the teeth, they're kind of dull. Now there are sharpeners you can buy to try to sharpen them, and I've done that, but I will tell you, I went online on Amazon and bought a 3-pack of the blades, brand new, that go to this model for, I think it was 20 bucks, 25 bucks. It was really cheap for 3. So I decided just to go ahead and put a brand new chain on it, and we'll kind of go from there and see how it works. I do not have the regular tool that comes with this any longer. You tend to lose those. You set them down and you don't have them anymore. But I will tell you that most of the time, these nuts that hold the guard on are going to be 1/2-inch nuts. I like a deep socket, so I'm not banging my hands, even though there's not a whole lot to hit there, but I just prefer deep sockets. And to do the tensioner, you need a long screwdriver so that you can get in here. This is the tensioner, so you can get in here and actually work. So we're going to go ahead and take it apart and see what we find. One of the things I do first is go ahead and back the tensioner off a little. It'll make it easier for it to come out when you pull this out, off, however you want to say it. So that's loose. Take my 1/2-inch deep and break these loose. So you can tell there's a lot of dirt in it. I can see it falling, or a lot of old sawdust. Take my socket off. It's easier just to turn it by hand at this point. Don't lose the nuts, set them aside. And they like to get kind of stuck in here. If I can get that to come out of there. Let's do this. Back in for just a second, then pull off. Sometimes you gotta think outside the box if you're having a problem like that. Now I can pull them off, set them aside. And let's pull the cover off. Nice and gentle, and see what we have. Okay. Teeth appear to be okay. It's just a little locking washer that locks the cover of it on. So now we are going to pull this off. If you're not real familiar with chainsaws, you can set this aside so you know exactly how it goes back on, but I'll show you how the teeth work. It's pretty simple. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this, clean it off. It is a little dirty. Check my bar, make sure it's spinning. You have a little sprocket at the back. You need to make sure that that's spinning and working well. The whole bar looks nice and straight, no problem. And I go ahead and I'll clean this out a little bit. Usually I have like a brake cleaner or something I like to use. I don't have any of that. I'm out in the middle of the woods today, but I do have a little WD-40, so I'm going to go ahead and just try to clean it off a little. Just to try to get any of this extra gunk out of here. And you don't want to leave the WD-40 on here too much, because it's going to collect a lot more of the dust, sawdust, when you start going in a minute. I'm just trying to get the bulk of it clean. So got it cleaned, or clean. Now I'm going to take and get my bar back on. Make sure I don't have anything. I do see a little rubbing, but everything seems to be okay. We're going to get it like so. Just gently put it on there. Now, how you know the direction is the little black ones are what actually go in the bar. That's your guide on the chain. The little silvers are going to be your cutters. And what you're going to do is you're going to feel the cutter. My sharp edge is on this side, so I want that sharp edge on the bottom of the chain to feed into the bottom of the chainsaw. So it's going to set like so. Actually, the easier way to do this is probably just go ahead and put it on back here and then run it like that and start feeding it just like that, almost like that. Some of them going a little easier than others. And I'm going to somewhat get it snug, not overly tight, just kind of get it in place. There we go. Just like that. So now it's somewhat ready. Just let me try to line that up so that it's setting good. I go ahead and put a little WD-40 on my tensioner. Wipe off excess. Well, actually there's a little more right there. Now you are pretty much ready. Set the tensioner on. Trying to look upside down so you guys can see, and it's kind of a little more difficult from this angle. Alright. Just like so. And now I'm going to put the nuts back on, but you just want to hand tighten the nuts. You don't want to go too crazy. Not yet, because you're going to do an adjustment. Right there's pretty good. I just want it to hold the chain in place so that I can use my tensioner to tension. So I take the screwdriver again, make sure that I'm on the chain, and then I start to tension. I had it pretty loose, so right about there. What I'm looking for is my guides. I don't want them to be above it. That's a little loose. It's too far above. So I'm going to tighten it just a little more. Just a little more than that. That's pretty good right there. And I usually pull from the top of the chain and I just see where that guide is. What you'll do though is once you get that tight, is you're going to go ahead and tighten your locking nuts down. And one thing to keep in mind is after you run it about 15-20 minutes, you're probably going to have to re-tighten the tensioner because it'll stretch a little and loosen. So get that a little snug. I work both of the nuts back and forth so that I don't end up cranking down unnecessarily on one end. You know, so that it's an even displacement. Snug. And snug. There you go. That's one of the reasons I think they give you the little hand tool too, so that you don't overdo it. Now, what keeps your chain oiled is going to be on the back side. Make sure that you're using a good chain oil in here. If not, you're going to have problems later. So pretty much that's it. The chain oil though, by the way, like I just said, what it does is that chain oil will actually lubricate this chain and keep it from getting stretched and caught too much. It will keep it cutting, and it'll last longer. So on the bottom going into the wheel, you should feel your sharp edges. You know you've got it set right. That's pretty much it. Pretty simple.